1987 season comes, the strike year. This is really an interesting time in NFL history, and I always like to ask guys that went through this time their memories from this season and the strike. What do you remember from that season?
Well, I was the representative for the Patriots, and I was the co-representative, if you want to call it that, with Keith Farnhorst. Again, a great guy, and God rest his soul. Too many people leaving the planet. And so it wasn't anything new to me because I had been part of the 1975 Wildcat strike, Patriots and the Jets, and went to Chicago as a player representative for William Ussery, the federal mediators, meeting with the management council and the team representatives. So, you know, and then we had the strike in 82. So 87, you know, we're doing this all over again. And we pretty much saw it coming. At least we stopped it from being as damaging as the 1982 strike was. But Keith Farnhorst and all the guys, you know, we held, there's two sides to every argument. There's two sides to every problem and solution. And having gone to the Super Bowl and you know, the team was still strong and still capable of going back to the Super Bowl, which they did shortly thereafter. It was challenging. It was difficult, but it was something that we'd done numerous times before, some of us veterans. The interesting, exciting part of that season, 1987, for me was at the very end of the season, I had announced my retirement at the beginning of the season. It's my 12th year. I don't know if you want to hear about this, but it was kind of an interesting. Bill Walsh and I used to have discussions, we'll call them. He called me up to his office, and it would get pretty exciting time to time. And I like to think he called me up there because he respected me, and I know I respected him. But he called me up to his office, and he said, we're going to start John Frank, the rookie tight end, or second year, I forget, tight end, kid out of Ohio State, who became an orthopedic surgeon, by the way, so he was no slouch. He was a good player, an All-American, and in a tough division, and a very bright guy. And so we're going to start him. And I said, well, that's not going to work. He goes, well, I'm the coach and I get to make the decisions. I said, you can start him in preseason. You can obviously start him if I'm hurt, but is he playing better than me right now? You have to judge. Well, no, experience-wise, but that's why he needs to be on the field. I said he can do that in preseason. I'm taking notes while Bill's talking. I learned to take a pad of paper and pencil or pen when I went up to see Bill. And he said, that's just the way it's going to be, so I'll see you at practice. So I went down and I copied the notes. I faxed them to somebody. And then I called that somebody. And that somebody was Raymond Berry, who was the head coach of the Patriots in 1987. And his tight end, Lynn Dawson, was hurt and down and out. And Raymond had been my second receiver coach, and then he became the head coach of the Patriots years later. I said, Coach, I understand that you, he said, Russ, what a great surprise. I haven't heard from you in a while. I said, Coach, I'm sorry to hear about your tight end, Lynn Dawson. I said, do you need another tight end? He goes, well, if you know somebody who's out there who's a free agent or something that might be able to just need bodies right now. How about somebody that actually knew your offense? And he goes, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm available. I'm going to unretire. I told the team I was going to retire. I'm not going to retire. He said, Russ, I can't even talk to you. I'm not allowed to by the league rules. I said, I know the league rules, Coach, but go check your fax machine. So he came back, and there was a signature because I had written the bill, authorization I could talk to any team I wanted to, and he looked at me and laughed and signed it. He scribbled his name. He said, who's going to hire, a 12-year, 13-year guy? I said, just get ready for practice. So I said, no, this is for real. He said, well, come on over. So I went into Bill's office. I said, thank you very much. Went down to the teams. Guys, I'm sorry, I miss you. Good luck in the playoffs, Super Bowls, whatever you're going to win. Caught a plane and went to New England. And the equipment manager, George Luongo, who could be 103, great guy. He said, 81 is taken by a rookie, but we'll give it to you next year at the beginning of the season, training camp. But we've got 80, 6, 89. This we have 40 this and 40 that. I said, what are the 40 numbers? That sounds kind of funny. I said, well, 46 and 49 and 41. I said, I'll take that 49 number. So I went on Monday Night Football, which was the next game, the last game of the season, as it turned out, for the Patriots, national TV with wearing the number 49 as a Patriot. I got a message the next day at the front desk saying that Bill Walsh had called and left a message. So that was very clever. And, was with the team for a couple more years. And, all of those things that you look at and you remember, people expect the highlights to be, well, this touchdown against this team, or winning the Super Bowl, which it is, or some personal best. But what it is that realization throughout all those years that it's so important to be, it's like one of the things you're doing now with former players. It's so important to tap into their understanding of we're in this together, sort of like this coronavirus thing. But that we can still be part of each other's lives to the very end. And there's lots of opportunities for all of us. And included in that are fans. I meet people all the time that said, well, we'd like you to speak for our group here, and we want to pay X number of dollars. I said, no, make it a steak and, nice tea, and I'm good to go. So you enrich your life, and it was all because somebody gave you a helmet, somebody gave you some cleats, somebody pointed you in the right direction, and you had fantastic teammates, coaches, and fans along the way. It doesn't get any better than that, except your close immediate family who applauded you all those years and kept waiting for you to get injured so you could come back and help with the family business, which didn't work out very well.
Interesting, to say the least. So you go back to the Patriots, memories of one of the great guys in the NFL, your head coach, and you've referenced him a couple times, Raymond Berry.
Raymond Berry was as complete a football player on the field as he was a coach off the field, which doesn't happen a lot. A lot of people want to impress you with the fact that they had a All-Pro, a Hall of Fame career, or whatever the case may be. That wasn't Raymond Berry. He was interested in knowing what you knew and finding ways to help you understand the game better. Now, I'd come from 3 years with his former teammate, Ray Perkins, don't call me Raymond, and then 3 years with Raymond Berry, don't call me Ray. So I went to the school of Ray and Raymond, as a receiver, and it couldn't have gotten any better. But he comes up to me his first training camp, and he starts throwing the ball with me after I'd run the stairs. And I'm saying, Coach, what are we going to do? We're going to run some routes? He said, no, we'll just play catch. Just warm up your arm. I said, am I going to be throwing to the guys? He goes, no, just warm up your arm. He was sort of a Zen master in many ways. He was peculiar in his, he wanted to test you, he wanted to see how you responded. And he's going deeper into the person to find out how much he can count on somebody, I found out. So we're doing this every day, and finally he'd throw the ball, and we'd start close and then start distance, throw it harder. And he'd throw it high and throw it low, throw it to the right. Now turn to the right, over your shoulder, left, right, and blah, blah, blah. And just about every day he'd say, well, what do you see? I said, well, I see the ball spinning. Could even see the threads, but, then I see the ball coming, catch it both hands. Oh, okay. Next day, what do you see? I pretty much tell him the same thing. And after about a week of this, I'm kind of getting, tired because it sounds like I'm missing something. So finally one day he's throwing to me, and he's throwing right at my face. And pretty good speed, nice tight spirals. And I'm looking, because I know I'm supposed to be seeing something else. I'm looking, and all of a sudden I saw it. When the ball spins fast, it's not wobbling. Those seams that come to the point, they form a black dot. And I almost broke my finger because I was focusing on the black dot and not on the football. I said, I saw it. I thought he smiled. He goes, well, what did you see? Like grasshopper. What did you see? I said, it's a black dot at the end of the ball where the seams all meet. He goes, and he just smiled. And he just kept throwing the ball. And I can't tell you how many times, especially where you're turning over your shoulder and you have to locate, you know where the quarterback's supposed to be, but where's the ball? He's probably let it go because I'm a little bit late on this route. And the ball is right, a yard from you, 2 yards from you, and all you can see is the black dot. That's all you focus on. And you just get up one hand, stop the black dot, and get your other hand on the football, and then tuck it away before someone hits you. I made so many more catches because of that, because there are balls that you just don't see in time. You don't even really get your hands up. So Raymond Berry was a true mentor, gentleman, and he understood us. He understood every player. He knew each guy's pluses, minuses, and finding ways to get better. And that's what it was always about with Raymond Berry and Ray Perkins and Bill Walsh. You're really good at what you do, but can you get better? And this is how, you're going to do your best to get better. And when as you did, was you went from high school to college to pro, you think, wow, I made it. Then you see how good everybody else is. You got to get better. Well, how do you do that? How do you catch your second wind and all that type of stuff? How do you move up another rung on the ladder? Watching everybody, listening to everybody, looking at film, studying, and conditioning. The number one thing that hurts your focus and your performance on the field is when you're not conditioned and you're tired. Your brain goes to zero. It's not working properly, and it has to work at hyper speed at times. You know what it's like you just initiate a block at the line of scrimmage, and then you know that linebacker's coming, and that's your pickup. And so you've got to slide off of that guy who's now somebody else's responsibility to pick up that blitzing linebacker. It happens in microseconds. And if you didn't have the type of training and the type of players around you who are doing their job to allow you to do yours, it doesn't happen. So we count ourselves, and I know you do too, Brad, we count all of ourselves as very, very lucky guys, people that we've met in this life, and there's more to come. We are doing all these other things like your program with former players in business or communities. There's so much more left to do, and you're getting us an opportunity to speak our story, also to tell people, that there's so much more that we can do together as a group of former players, as a group of former coaches, as a group of current and former fans. If you're no longer a Patriots fan, I doubt that. But it's a great world. It's blue skies, as we say in the aviation and skydiving business. Blue skies.